Would you like to notice something different about my day? Welcome to the Smart Life Club. This is the Coffee Break Show, and this is my new current coffee mug. It's like a huge mug. This is a mug that can, really fill coffee up. I'm telling you, it's my favorite now. It's big. It has Coffee Outlaw. Welcome to Thursday. Nice to see you guys. I'm so excited to be here. I'm a little tired today. I really worked late last night. I was really excited, and I was working on some of the things that everybody got me there. And I am so looking forward. Hey, thank you for coming on. Put your name down below and tell me who you are. I want to see you and know you and enjoy you being here with us today. If you're new here, just put your name down below or on the side, wherever you're seeing it. And if it's your first time here, you're going to see a link somewhere up here that says StreamYard/Facebook. If you click that, it'll give me permission to see your name. Good morning, Suzanne. I was just thinking about you this morning. I'm so glad you're with us. I'll have to tell you what I was thinking in a minute. But the Coffee Break Show, we go live Monday through Friday. We share inspiration, motivation. We share all kinds of good stuff to help our community thrive and be together. And we are going to be talking about something. Good day. Hey, Ryan, nice to see you on your mobile. Hey, Donnie, thank you for being here with us today. We are looking at a different time right now. And I thought I wanted to talk about, so what's the story? And so what's the story coming up? As everybody bumps on and says hello, do me a favor, put your name down below so I can say hi to you as well. I'm so glad you've joined us today. And I want to let you know I have been working, and I don't want to say I want to say we, my entire team. We've been working really, really hard this morning. Good morning, Barb. Good morning, Marie Jo. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Donnie. So yesterday I was working on a project that's really near and dear to my heart. It's something with a friend of mine who is uber talented. He's so talented, and where he's also very intuitive, and he's very spiritual, and he gets like prophetic dreams. And we were trying to work on the first introduction. Hey, Joan Pounds, nice to see you. Good morning. This is a nice surprise to see you on, my friend. Anyway, so we were working on the introduction of his book and writing it out. And he said this really interesting story, which really correlated to a piece of my story. And I thought it was so interesting, and I want to share it with you. He talks about being a little boy, maybe 3 years old. And he had a father that was very similar to my father. They were terrorists and bullies and not very nice people. And he talked about the fact that when he was little, he could sense when his dad was coming home before his dad got home. He could sense it. And this voice had come up and kind of tell him what to do. It would like, okay, go run to the door and lock the door, make sure you get this. It would make it hard for the, drunk, violent father to come home. And so what ended up happening was we started talking a little bit about this little voice, because I remember having that little voice when I was a little kid, and it would tell me where to hide and things like that when, my crazy dad was being or feeling crazy. And so when I got off the phone with him, I was really self-reflective, because I thought to myself, where did that inner voice go? Where did that inner voice go to the place where's it gone? Why do I listen to this so much? Why am I not checking in? And when you're a kid, I think your mind is quieter. I think when you're a child in your toddler years, you're not like with all your big ideas and all your big stresses and all your big family commitments, and you're not trying to think all the way through. There's this little inner voice. And sometimes women have that little inner voice as well, but it's like corded to everything, but especially children. It's like a woman can be woken up in her sleep, and maybe a dad too. I don't know. I'm not a man. So, but maybe a dad too, but a woman can be woken up in her sleep, and her daughter can be 4 states away at college, and mama can go, something ain't right. She can just pop up, or in the middle of the night, or that little voice talks to you. Why isn't that we don't hear that as much? What happens to that? So when I say what's the story, going on in our lives? What's the exact moment we stopped listening to that inner voice and we start listening to the head? I really had to find that out. So I started noticing I listen to that inner voice when there's an emergency, when I'm super scared out of my wits. Then I'll listen to that voice. I realized that it's when my mind has no solution that I can listen to that inner voice. When my mind has no solution, that inner voice pops up and it's like, go left, go right, go forward. And I thought to myself, that voice doesn't get a voice in daily life. It only gets a voice when there's an emergency. Now, why is that for me? Because that voice is 100% correct. I want to pop over here for a second because y'all are saying good morning, everyone. Good morning. Drowned by external noises. You got that right. And I hope that's Ryan or Elizabeth or whoever's on. Yes, drowned by the external voice. Now is the time to tap into that inner voice. And that's my point today. My point is this: when we start going through that inner voice is the only thing that's going to guide us really forward right now. There are no experts left in the world. Sorry, none. Zip. There are no experts. Good morning, Peter. Nice to see you on. If the experts, they have to have some time. You can speak knowledgeably about a topic you're an expert on, but about the future is wide open. It looks vastly different. We don't know what we don't know. And in that moment right now, if you listen inward and you listen to that inner voice, I think that's the only way we're going to move forward, because we can't suddenly look for information on the pandemic, and there's going to be a lot of misinformation coming out. So much misinformation that we forget the good news. So I was, let's see. Good morning. The inner things are judged. Yes, Ryan, that's an unfortunate truth. Most adults don't listen because they're too busy. It's true. We're so busy, we don't listen to ourselves. These inner things are judged, and we don't like to be the outside of the norm. And hi, Peter. Good morning. Good morning, Mary France. Yes, we don't like that. We don't like to be out there. We don't like to be judged for having that little inner voice. And yet, that's the thing that'll get us to the promised land. That's the thing that'll show you your purpose. That's the thing that'll bring you in money. That's the little thing that'll nudge you and go, good opportunity, go get it. And we have to differentiate between the voice in our head and the voice that is us as our soul, that part of us that talks to us when we're little. Let's see, gonna go here, go up a little bit. Your inner voice doesn't get a voice in regular life. That's true. Nice to see you. You as well, Robin. Yep, Joni's here with us. So let's see, Facebook user, that's Ryan. So many times we doubt our inner voice only to see later that we were right. I know, right? Well, why do we doubt that inner voice? That inner voice is like, no, something ain't right here. No. And your mind is listening, trying to, if your mind has to search at that person going, there's got to be a nugget of truth somewhere. Stop. What is that line that they say? If people show you who they are, believe them. Yeah, that's it. If people show you who they are, believe them. And then listen to that inner voice. If the inner voice has got a red flag up, listen to the red flag. Stop trying to listen to the person in front of you who's like the red flag comes up. Stop trying to listen to them. Trust your own red flag. Don't let them talk you out of your own soul. And that's what the brain does. It talks us out of our own soul. And then we move forward. So the other day, I was on Facebook and I was looking at all the data about how many people died from the coronavirus and And my friend Suzanne put up a post that said that there are finally in Asia, I think it was South Korea, where they got a handle on this thing and they're turning it around. And it's a really reliable news source. And I was like, everybody wants to look at the doom and gloom meme, but here's the actual news source saying, We're going to be recovering it slowly. It's going to be there. So right away, I put it on my page because I wanted people to understand that there are going to be ups and downs, and there are going to be unknowns. There's going to be tumultuousness. And the only way really through it is that. So what's the story that you have in your inner voice? What does it want to say? Does it say, hey, Donnie, stay put for a while, don't move? And your brain is like, but I want to, but I want to do this, but I want to go here, but I have to do this. What's that thing? Is it saying stay put and relax? Is it saying check up on my neighbor? Is it saying make that call? What is it saying? Why is it that we always go up here to use our life and be in our life unless there's an emergency? So we doubt our inner voice, and our inner voice, Karen says the inner voice didn't go away. It still speaks. We just don't listen. Girlfriend, you know what? I think that's true. I think we let our brain override what is speaking to us. It's sad, but it's true, said Robin. Ryan says, are you hearing the great news out of South Korea? Not yet this morning, but I heard it from Suzanne, shared it with me. And that's like a big deal. So, Peter, you guys are talking. So, hey, Suzanne, nice to see you pop on. Speaking of the devil, it's my girlfriend. Let's see. Suzanne says, she really does. This is what's really cool about Suzanne. I read the first line. I was like, oh yeah, you got it, girl. You listen to this all the time. Suzanne says, I've had that inner voice my whole life. It's so true. She has it to an nth degree and wears that voice on her sleeve. It's one of the things I like about her. Jeremy was just telling the kids last night to listen and trust their mom. Yes. Stress, anxiety, and depression can minimize that voice. It's so true. It's like your brain comes on, it starts shouting stuff that isn't true. It starts saying to you, you know what? Don't listen to that, or you're not good enough, or they're just trying to do this to you. That's what they're doing. It makes it so that you can't even tap into it. So here's the thing. It's like, just listen and trust. Stress, anxiety, and depression can minimize that little voice within you because you don't think you're worthy of having it. It's so important to me to meditate and or breathe in order to carry on and prophesize. You know, that I'm going to just go out there. I was afraid to go out on that limb. Thank you, Suzanne, for being the friend you always are. It is prophesizing. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. And this is what my friend does really well. Like 10 or 15 years ago, he knew that this time was coming. He knew it so well. He made all these preparations and everything else. And then I was like, okay, you owe it to the public to say, what do we need to do for the next 10 years? What do we need to do that? And it is a form of prophesizing. When you can listen in and it tells you what to do, and 100% of the time it's correct. Don't you think that's prophesizing? Because the action it tells you is in the future. The action it tells you, go left now. It gives you enough time to go left now. And if it says stay put now, or this is all, whatever it is, you have to go ahead and get to the point where right now you listen in. Why? Because the things that are happening right now are so huge on several scales. It's so big what's going on right now. And here's the thing I noticed. I noticed that when 9/11 happened, it was a big thing. And we started the TSA checkpoints, and we've never gone back. It's our freedom to go across the airport and meet somebody at the gate and hug them and say hello and greet them with flowers right at the gate has never come back. Never. Now, bin Laden's been dead since the Obama era. Bin Laden's been dead a long time. And so we still have TSA. And the question is, nobody's questioning why. Why is TSA there? Why can't we just go up to the gates now? We're not getting on the plane. We're not doing anything but greeting our loved one at the gate. And we get so systematized. It's like, okay, here's the system. Here's the rule. We don't meet anybody at the gate. Have you ever wondered what things are going to be taken away from us, freedom-wise, by having this thing that's happening all over the world happen? Have you ever wondered why TSA, even after bin Laden is dead, why can't we greet people? Why isn't that happening? So even if there's the possibility of a terrorist act, that's great. So that means giving away our freedoms and giving away some of the things we're giving away right now doesn't mean terrorism won't come. It doesn't mean a terrorist isn't going to happen. A terrorist attack isn't going to happen. It just means we have less freedom. And this is kind of the thing as we look around that we're questioning, but what does your inside say? Your mind can rule all of that and go, we could this and that and conspiracy theory and talk. But what if you quiet down and you breathe? Just breathe in. What is this moment also? Is it a moment of the divine saying, shut up, sit down, and be with me? Is it a moment of the divine saying, hey, isn't it time to just take a moment and tell your family you love them and be with them and how proud you are of them and what it is that you love about them? Is it a moment to say to yourself, oh my God, I hate going into work Monday. I don't have to go into work Monday. Is there a part of you that's saying, oh my God, where's my money? I'm not working. I'm not making any money, blah, 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 blah. I don't have my job. What am I doing? Or is there a part of you that's saying, I don't know, everything's going to be all right? You know, I can still hear Marley in my head. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is going to be all right. I mean, that whole thing in my soul, it's that song. What song is playing there? What's it telling you? What's your story? What's your story? And everybody's story isn't the same. It's not the same story for everyone. It's your story, yourself, by yourself. And your brain is just speculating. It's just speculating, spewing its opinion, spewing its positivity or negativity. It's just spewing things. And inside that quiet inner voice that somehow at 2 years old and 3 years old and 4 years old, you absolutely have connection to, unless you're like Suzanne and my friend. What prophesizing will happen to you if you listen? If you listen inward. Hey, Stephen, nice to see you. Stephen says, I listen to that inner voice every day. Of course you do. You are one that would. You're right. It's been with me for over 60 years, and it has brought me through many difficult times. Don't be concerned about what other people think. That's the key, isn't it? Don't be concerned about what other people think. If you're mistaken, you can always go back to that inner self. Yes, I love that. Hey, Peter. Peter says, why is it important to listen to your inner voice? Call it your gut, your intuition, or universal guidance, but your inner voice acts as an insanely powerful something or other. So, you know, that's what's interesting. It stops right there. It is insanely powerful. It doesn't matter what you call it. Your soul, your inner voice, your gut, that's very good. Intuition, your guidance, all of that thing. You need that now more than ever. Ryan says, how many times have you thought of someone only bumped into them in person? Validation of the inner voice. That is so true. Ryan, that's a perfect example of that. I just did that with my friend Karen today. I was like, oh my God, I was just thinking about you last night and she reached out today. Perfect example of that. Karen says, God, can I ask you a question? God, sure. Me, promise you won't get mad at me? God says, I promise. Me says, why did you let so much stuff happen to me today? God, what do you mean? Me, well, I woke up late, God. Yes. God says yes. Me, my car took forever to start, God. Okay. God says okay. Me, at lunch, they made my sandwich wrong and I had to wait. God says, Me, on my way home, my phone went dead. Just as I picked up a call, God, all right, me, and on top of it all off, when I got home, I just went to soak my foot, And it does not give me the rest of it. It doesn't give me the rest of it. It just stops it there. I know there's some brilliance there. Brian Rogers, congratulations, my friend. I want to let you know, Brian Rogers made the cover of which magazine? Which magazine is it? Eating Well or something like that? My inner voice tells me to eat pizza. You know, mine does too, quite often. Then it tells me not to eat pizza. I think I have a inner multiple personalities. Thank you very much for that. I needed that giggle. Robin says, and it always is right. That your inner voice is always right, isn't it? That amazing power we have that we almost totally ignore. Yes, Barb says, anybody else noticing live reactions being turned off? No, I'm not. If there's live reactions turned off, I need to know that. Peter says, whether you realize it or not, your inner voice has a pattern. Ooh, that's interesting. It will usually speak to you in similar ways so that you can learn to tune in to it. Yes. I want to say something, Peter, about that because I think that's so important what you just said. For me, silence is my gateway. When I silence my mind, the gateway into that, hearing that voice is there. Unless, it's silence for me. In those quiet moments, like just when you stop working or just before bed, or when you're quiet up here, that inner voice can speak for me. That's what happened to me. I don't know what happens to you. I've noticed they're consistent. Watch out for mandatory vaccines, said Ryan. Okay. I bet that's going to come out. And a cashless society, said Robin. Look up ID 2020. I will do that. Look up ID 2020. The Fed Reserve is to be eliminated. Yeah. And I don't know if it's Fed Reserve to be eliminated. I'll look at that. Don't worry, be happy. Thank you. That's the thing. We can play that whistling now. Karen, if you get a moment, pull that up. That don't worry, be happy. Thank you. Sasha, that's beautiful. By the way, I love you, Mom. Let's see. The willingness to listen to it. The willingness to listen to it is sometimes all you need to awaken your awareness of your inner voice. That's right. As soon as you know you have one and you can listen to it, and I think you really need to know the difference between the inner conversation in your mind, which is incessant, and your true inner voice, that true inner thing, that gut feeling, that check. Sometimes your inner voice doesn't use words. It uses a complex system of like a thought pouch or an inner gut feeling. And maybe it's just minimal. It just says something is out of whack, or yes, this is the right opportunity. And you get this kind of alignment. It doesn't say something like, Vickie, take this opportunity. This is a good one. You got to feel it, know it, and be in it. Hey, if that's Wilmy, I love you. So let's see. But the Fed Reserve is not a private company, not a federal at all. Peter, correct. You guys are talking with each other. Forks Over Knives. There it is. That's the magazine. Thank you. Congratulations being on that. So if you want to see Brian Rogers, who's a Smart Life Club member, he's in Forks Over Knives right now. That's a great magazine. That's a cool success. I remember way back when I got my first magazine article and my first magazine cover. Those are all really fun days for me. I really felt like that was a milestone. Congratulations. That's really something. That's great. We could go down the path, but it would be better over margaritas. That was Robin. She does like a good margarita. I always like a good coffee. Stephen says, great show, many points of value. So true. Don't worry, be positive. Congratulations. I want to say I prefer don't worry, be discerning. And for me to be discerning is an act of positivity, like Stephen said. It's like when you have discernment, you can evaluate. And evaluating isn't always a calculation of the mind. Sometimes it's an inward feeling, that little voice in your head. And even though it looks like you should go completely the opposite way, If you listen to it, it brings you the most success. It'll tell you to go to the right. And you'll say, okay, guys, I know you're going to be really mad at me, or you're going to be hassling me, or you're not going to trust me, but I'm going right. And that's what I'm doing, because that's what my inner voice is saying. And it always is correct 100% of the time. Peter says your mind, your fear, and your intuition are all battling for your attention. You got that right. It's the noise that creates confusion and perverts us from following through on what our inner voice tells us to do. And that's so true, Peter. Your mind, this is gold. Your mind, your fear, and your intuition are all battling for your attention. It's this noise that creates confusion and prevents us from following through on what our inner voice tells us to do. Unless you're Suzanne, who's next. Hi, sweetheart. I still quietly daily. I sit quietly daily. It creates many prophecies. My dreams also have come true many times. Yes, you are speaking my language, because the guy he has prophetic dreams and he writes them down. And oh my gosh, they're so correct all the time. It's spooky and kind of cool. No matter what we do, we have all the time in our day that we can get quiet in our mind that will then allow the inner voice to speak. Yes, dishes, laundry, gardening, cleaning, working on cars, etc. can encourage that voice. Yes, you are so right. Margaritas. Okay, she's down for margaritas, Robin. I so agree, Peter. Your mind, your reactions, and your story, your chance to lead the mind in a more supportive direction. I truly believe that. Don't worry, be discerning. Don't worry, be discerning. Stop today's mug quotable. Thank you. Hey, Becky Miles Brenner. Nice to see you on it now. Thank you. So today, when we look about it, when you ask yourself, so what's your story? Let that be a call to go inward and say, what's your story right now? Because you know what? Most people get on Google and they start looking for answers. And there's so much disinformation and so much correct information that piling through it is an all-day job. I know it because our guys over here that do our research department, that's an all-day job. And getting the right data and listening to the right sources doesn't have anything to do with what's right for you. Did you hear that? Listening and gathering all the right sources and everything doesn't have anything to do with what's right for you to do. Only you know what's best for you. Only you know what it is inside. And it can't come from your mind like, you can't tell me what to do. You can't do this. That's not what's there. You want to get really silent. Ask yourself, not with they're trying to do this and they're trying to do that. You have to really quiet the negativity that exists in all of us. And so this whole point right now of being on social distancing is your key to going inward. So let's see. Hey, Sasha, thank you for saying this. Sasha says, this isolation provides the space and the time to sit and go inward to listen to your inner self and receive answers. You got that right. And with that, that's what today's show I'm going to end with right there. That's like one of the most important things right there. This isolation provides a space and time to sit and go inward to listen to your inner self and receive answers. And maybe this entire thing has been created so we go meet our inner selves. So what's your story? Let's find out tomorrow. All right. Mwah. Peace out. Love you guys. Bye.